What's up, everybody?
Hey,
I'm Ethan. Fight me on this.
I'm Jill at CoachJill.April.
How's everybody doing?
Welcome to the pod.
Cast. Why'd you do that? Oh, apparently I'm fucking hair trigger pissy today. And not in a fun way. Good to know. Still recovering from Father's Day.
Do you want the mic closer or?
No, I don't.
Okay, just checking. I'm just giving you a second. From the top.
Yeah, hey everyone. Sorry about that. My heart has just been found. As you can see, I have something called misophonia. And I really hate mouth noises. And I wasn't joking. I have a Father's Day hangover this year that's pretty bad. I get one every year. Just the emotions and everything that comes with navigating life as a trauma victim and survivor and everything else that happens. And one of the things that happens is the retraction, the reduction into self. And for me, it's the smallest version of me every time. And I say that because there's a very specific noise that Jill just made that my mom used to make all the time. And it would fucking drive me crazy then. And there's a really hard piece of trauma navigation and healing, and it's the ties and the triggers. And we talk about this a lot. You guys asked us to talk about mental health this week on the live. And something that is really not understood is how quickly, and I'm going to leave it in, and it's going to be the hardest thing for me to do is to leave it in, how quickly it happens. And I'm sure, some of you are going to go back and watch it happen now that you know it's going to happen. And you're going to watch Jill slurp on her coffee after trying to annoy me with a word. Again, something my mom used to do. She used to poke me and then poke something new because she wanted a reaction. Because she thought it was funny how hot I would get. Jill doesn't know this. This is not Jill trying to do shit. This is never people trying to do shit to me. I really hate that woman. And something so small can send you. And this is life with trauma. This is life healing. This is life being autistic and a trauma survivor. Whichever one came first, we'll never know. Like that, like I didn't even want to do the show. I didn't want to do this episode immediately. I wanted to be as far away from Jill as I could be. And I have to sit there. And there's a piece of me that wants to combat Jill. I'm not even looking at her, and she's just staring at me, trying to give me space, but I'm getting annoyed that she's looking at me. And that's not me. That's the protector in me being like, would you fuck off? I'm not giving you the chance to say something or set me off even more. That's not her fault. That's the protector in me doing their job. So I have to sit and let him throw his tantrum in here and do my best not to let it escape me. And then I'm trying to sift as to why that made me so hot so fast. Because it's not Jill. I'm well aware that it's not Jill. I've done enough of that healing. But I'm sifting through memories and places that are drenched, drowning in really fucked up events, happenings, experiences, assaults, affronts, thefts of autonomy. Everything around those two beings that were supposed to be my parents is not muddied, because muddied is like this. I drove past and we shot mud on something and it happened to get dirty. That's not what happened. That isn't what happened. Both of them made willful and conscious decisions to destroy something beautiful for a very long time. So it's mired by this atrocity, repetitive atrocity, affront, this thing. Anyways, I exist in this world as all trauma survivors, big T, horrific trauma survivors, childhood trauma survivors, live every day in a world full of landmines that we didn't plant. Navigating life is trying to share this life with people who are walking close enough to you to step on those landmines. This shit is hard.
Thank you for sharing. I think as hard as it is, there's always something to learn. Like, I just learned two things. I know noises like that bug Ethan, but I think one of the tricky parts on the other side is knowing, how do I want to word it, the degree, level, one of the two. Especially,
I think it's more than that, because those are wrong. And not wrong for, they're just the wrong word. But I think it's what part of me you land it with. And that's anybody's guess. It's not like it's, you make that noise drinking coffee every day. Every day. And it's so like, I make the noise. Coffee's hot, fuck. But that was not that. And I know the noise. And I know the difference. And I know that Jill was trying to be funny and cute. Because she knows I hate the pod thing in a funny way. But she didn't know that Darlene would just slurp coffee, slurp anything. And then she would do it because it would annoy us. The same way she would take food off of my fucking plate. I warn everybody, that's not a fucking joke to me. That's never funny to me. I don't give a fuck if you paid. You can suck the darkest part of my ass about it. Buy your fucking own thing that I ordered and eat it your goddamn self.
that we had this conversation with somebody new a while ago. Ethan went to get food and was like, do you want anything, to the new person? And they're like, no, I'm good. I'll just have some of yours. And I was like, no, you won't. And Ethan like was walking away and turned around and was like, do you want your own food? I was like, that's you. But like, girls also think that's a cute, like, no, I'll just have a bite of yours.
Now, first of all, fucking eat food. get out of that goddamn mindset. I have a short piece of content about that today. But yep.
Yeah. I was going to say I can usually clock it earlier in the day, and it's a conversation Ethan and I have had many times that we haven't fully figured out yet, but I'm sure we will one day, of like what, from my side, it's a what do you need me to do when I know it's going to be a short-tempered day. Because I said something earlier this morning, and his reaction told me that it was going to be one of those days, and that's fine. But I struggle with the like, what do I do with that information? And I don't think there's a lot for me to do with it, and it's not a walking on eggshells thing. It's just these are the days where I tend to tone down my brat a little bit because it's not going to land the way.
Or like she over exaggerates the fact that it's coming from a place of play. There's something that I've noticed, or is like something that you've either developed over the last little bit, or whatever. Because I do know you pull your brat. Like I feel it. You don't. Like I don't need to be worried about where my energy is for those moments because I know that you're pretty much aware of it. But I also know that you like can't shut up. So like there is a moment every single day where I am short tempered like this, where it comes from. You wait for your opportunity to shoot whatever shot it is in my direction, but it's almost always, I'd say you bet 95%, 98, that it's intentionally overly shown that it's coming from that I'm just fucking with you, Brad. Like throw me if you want, please. What?
That's fair. Yeah, I think that's about it.
That was my heart.
I feel like that can be a combined
Sure.
hard. I shared the side of not knowing what to do.
Sure.
Do you have a joy?
No, did something good happen? I have no recollection of it in the moment.
My joy is that I think made friends, which somebody's probably like, huh. I'm not like the best at making friends. Having like quality friends has never really come easily to me. I've actually had a really terrible time with friends. Ethan's been here for most of them. But Ethan was working at an event on Saturday for, it was like a pride market, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I went with him just to like scope it out, and then helped out a little bit. And then we got like thank you cards from the organizers. And at the bottom of mine, it said, P.S. Let's be pals. And I literally read it and out loud was like, I made friends. And it's just like nice. I don't know. Everyone knows adult friendships are hard. So nice to just like exist around people. And it's funny because when we got home from the event, I was like, Ethan, those people are cool. And he was like, yeah, they are. And then I got a card that said, let's be pals. And I was like, oh my God, they think I'm cool too. So just like a neat moment of like, oh, you can make friends as an adult. You just have to leave your house sometimes.
Yeah. And I guess if I have a joy, it would have been the event. It's always good to be out in community with people. And it's fun to be a face of, I got you for everybody. Especially at events like that. It'll always be validating, and it also always, affirm the mission that people find safety and joy and peace, and also an ability to ask with me. So being in community was good. Frustration still, like across the board. And like I'll say something to it. It was having to kick out someone that's supposed to be a positive member of the community, but has done real significant harm to a member of the community in public. And I think it's fucked up to be out here preaching love peace, harmony, respect, kindness, all this shit. That wasn't supposed to be a plur thing. I in my brain, shut up about it. Same community. Um, it will never not fucking grind my goddamn gears when people say they're here to help like that, and then have like actively and with ignorance and hatred done direct harm to the community itself. Shit like that will always piss me off. So there's lots of joy, but I also have a hard time because when I went to think of the event, I thought about that moment, and it doesn't cloud over that shit. It's just as an advocate and activist, that stuff will always make me want to pound them feet first into the ground, top of the head, dome until they disappear. I feel better.
We had a question come in about how to know what level of partner somebody is. Let me expand.
Okay.
And if you have questions right off the bat,
I do. So we're friends.
To give an example of like level in air quotes, Ethan and I are technically nesting partners / we go by anchor partners, but like technically we're both.
And we say technically because describing to you and the community itself what we are is not like mandatory. But when you're out meeting people and in community, people want to know. But like Jill and I just chill and do life together. Like she's my partner.
It's also like I say technically both because those could be two different things. You could have a nesting partner, aka somebody you live with, that isn't your anchor partner. Vice versa. We just happen.
Yeah, like by definition, Brian, outside of being like a roommate, he would be a nesting partner. Mm-hmm. But he's not. He's a roommate because fuck explaining why he's a nesting partner to you guys. With love. I don't know with love. That was.
Yeah, and then there's lots of other like descriptors of partners. So this one is more so a curiosity of like wanting to how do I identify what level of relationship you want with somebody? I want someone to build a life with and spend the rest of my life with, a nesting partner, but I also want more casual relationships. How do I identify if somebody may potentially be a nesting partner for me or if they are a partner but not at that level?
That was a way better way to say that than what level of partner are you. I actually kind of like this question because it can be overwhelming when you realize that you are polyamorous or you choose to step into this life, and even stepping into ethical non-monogamy. But let's not fucking cloud it up. Let's talk about how Jill and I live life as polyamorous humans. Jill and I, before we agreed to do any version of labeled life together, we really hashed out the fact that we knew we would do life together in some version of connection. And whatever that looked like, we accepted. And for us, that's kind of how we've navigated the initial, we've been together for about a year now, just over. And there's nothing that Jill loses in me loving other people. And the level of connection we choose to have is that Jill chooses to hold space in the most intimate and darkest places for me, with me, for herself, because of herself. You decided to do the hair. And in that connection, in that depth, is where you'll find our level of connection. It's that deep, that strong. Whether we live together or don't, it will be. How do I choose if I want to do that with somebody else? I do. I've told Jill that. We've agreed that we also want that. How?
I also assume that this is somebody that's newer to poly. Because I think it's very monogamy to be like, how do I decide what I do with this person?
Oh, yeah, we
Because
talked about that earlier.
there's very much like stepping stones in monogamy. You meet a person, you decide you like a person, you date a person. Somewhere, probably marriage, kids, whatever order you choose to do that in. But like, there's very much like a rule book of if you like them this much, you do this, and then if you like them more, you do that. And then eventually you just spend the rest of your life only the two of you.
That's attached. That's crazy. Sorry.
Um, where we don't really have to follow those rules over here. And
Rules.
coming into it being like, what level of partner that is this? I don't know, figure it out. Like, as rude as that might sound,
It's
like,
not rude, it's just a clear statement.
hang out with them, figure it out. Do you like them enough to live with them? Because if you don't want to live with them, they don't want to live with you, then don't worry about it. Exist however it makes sense.
And that's also, like, I think, to your point, that can still be a strong relationship because there's no monogamous rules over here. There's no navigational guide to how this is supposed to go. You, in every second of every minute of every hour, in each moment in that connection, in connections, you get to choose. You get to decide. You get to say your needs, your wants, your desires out loud. I'll say this to you. If you don't say it, you don't get to be mad about it. You don't get to be hurt by it or upset about it. You have to say, you have to communicate, use your big girl, big boy words and say the thing. I'm not a fucking mind reader. Jill's not a fucking mind reader. You're not a fucking mind reader. Though, like, we could be pretty good and accurate. Don't make us guess. You shouldn't have to guess. You know what that's like. So say it.
Also, just most of the time a conversation.
Sorry, I'm going to double down on you all the time.
If you're sitting here being like, I want to find a partner to live with and live with forever, and you're dating somebody who's like, I never want to live with anyone ever, you better talk about that sooner rather than later. Or you're thinking they're moving in and they're like, yee, gotta go. So most people, as I think everybody gets more comfortable in this life and figures out themselves, has some sort of wants, desires, not an expectation, just a want or desire, not tied to a specific person, but you got to talk about that. Like, you want somebody to live with? Great. Then you better be like telling the people you're dating that one of your desires is to have a partner to live with so that you can find partners that want to live with you or potentially live with you at some point. Same way, if you want kids, you better find someone that also wants kids, or that's going to be a real awkward conversation down the road. Yeah, you got to align yourselves with people that want similar things. If you want, do you only want to look for a partner you want to live with right now? Are you niching yourself down, or are you like, ideally I live with somebody, but all of these other things are cool too?
Yeah, like, these are all options, and you never know until you put yourself out there and start meeting these people, because there's so many things that ebb and change and flow over time. Your wants and desires will do the same. They should do the same thing. If you're growing and healing and evolving, then all of those things should do the same thing. There's, we never wanted to own a house, and we've talked about it multiple times in the last 3 months about what that looks like. Is it a possibility? Is it something that we want to do? I'm vehemently against owning a home. All of you know that. But shit changes. Shit ebbs and flows. I could hate that concept. I still hate the fucking concept. But, like, the necessity and need for enjoyment, peace of mind, all of the things have and could possibly change. So be it.
It's even for myself, like, one of my wants / desires is having a solo partner for myself. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm not talking to anybody else unless that's also your end goal. So just because you want end goal a specific thing doesn't mean you can't be open to other things in the meantime. And that'll just help you figure out what you're looking for in that person too, or what you're looking for.
You never, like, the amount of coffees. Why do you go for so many coffees? I get that asked a lot. Because I love meeting new people. whether it's once or I've met somebody that I get to vibe with. Do you know how much I've learned about myself, my wants and desires by meeting people? And that's not meant to be funny or a shot. Like, yes, it's shown me a ton of shit I didn't realize I didn't want. But it's shown me so much more of like, oh fuck, that's a possibility. Oh, there's so much beauty to be had out here in connecting. Period. Full stop, end of story. And I think that if I could give advice to somebody that's stepping into this new, it's come at this from the concept of connecting with new humans, with people to connect. You'll know how those connections land in your system as you navigate them. But I think not allowing these wants for self-sufficiency, self-love, and all these things for yourself to expand into expectations on other people is where lots of us get fucked up. Because like we talk about doing the inner work and doing all the work for self, especially if you're stepping into polyamory, if it's who you are, if you've understood this, if all of the work, because even though you may know it, you really don't understand how much shit you've picked up that you goddamn baggage that you have from the life that you've been living, from the set of rules you were told were the only rules. There's so much shit to put down.
Yeah, and I also think when you niche yourself of one specific like want, you're gonna end up settling. Same as you would
good point.
Dating monogamously of like, I just want to get a husband. Great, you're gonna pick a terrible one. Because now you're just looking for anybody that could maybe possibly do the thing without actually finding a person that is capable and the right person to do the thing. How many times have you watched your friends settle into a relationship just because they're lonely? So I would be careful with niching into I want this one specific thing, because you get a little narrow-minded and just take what you can get, and that might not actually be the best.
Monogamy blinders are wild. And
I imagine it can happen over here too of like,
oh yeah,
I want this one type of connection or partner, so you just like the first person to be like, yeah, I also want that. You're like, great, sold. Not ideal.
Yeah, and that's still that. Yeah, again, comes from that self, that inner work, that understanding what really makes you tick, the things that you need to add to your life. How the fuck are you supposed to find that in somebody else if you don't know what does it for you? That's how we fuck people over in putting so much expectation over here on them to fill the void that I should have filled myself.
I had a similar conversation with Ethan earlier today of like, even as I've been dating women, it's just figuring out like, oh, I actually don't like that part, or I do like that part, or I need this, or I don't want that. And it makes it easier to be like, no, I'm good. This is not the right vibe. This is not the right connection. But I wouldn't know that if I didn't keep finding the wrong connections. I'll find the right one eventually. But it also just makes the process, I don't want to say easier, more clear the next time when something similar pops up. You can be like, oh no, I've been here before and I actually know this isn't the vibe for me. So it makes your like filtering process a little bit faster, I guess, of being like, oh no, I've felt this vibe before and it's actually not what I want.
Yeah, like I can give, for instance, even for me, I didn't know uncertainty was such a orange flag for me. And I did not know that outside of when I started connecting and dating in this life and being around more versions of people. And really seeing like, oh, what's the thing that irks me in this conversation? Oh, it's the not knowing. It's the, oh, why is that? And then I got to go do work for myself to answer the question of why is that something that sets off that thing in me? And here we be around a lot of self-aware people, and that works for me. So it's not just about your intimate partners; it's the tribe you build, it's the people you keep around you. That's what building community, that's what connecting is learning more and more about what you actually want out of this life, out of these periods of time, out of this chapter, whatever it is. Anything else?
I don't think so. Yeah, I think as much as you can have wants and desires, you gotta go with the flow a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Figure it out as you go. Learn from all your types of relationships, friendships, romantic, not.
Mm-hmm.
Put the pieces together. Trapball, okay.
That is itchy.
But yeah, I think that covers it all.
Mm-hmm.
Dating over here, I don't think is that different than dating in monogamy. We just don't have to stop doing it once we find a person.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have to put full expectations on one human.
Or fucked up rules or guidelines that nobody actually agreed to.
Which makes it easier in a sense of you can craft your people and like have different parts, different wants from different people rather than expecting it to come from one person. So just because you want an anchor partner doesn't mean you can only have an anchor partner.
I did hear you.
If you have any questions or there's anything you want to talk through with us, you can send us questions at Shifting the Lens Podcast, or if you're more comfortable in one of our DMs, you're welcome to send it there as well. You can find me at CoachJill.April.
You can find me at You Fucking Fight Me on this.
I'll catch you guys next time.